Yeah, and Josh Barnett, he did put his foot down. He was resisting, and I think it was just announced this week that he finally did get an offer good enough, I'm hoping, from the UFC, and he did actually sign with them. But yeah, he was one of these guys. It's rare that I can name maybe Bob Sapp and Josh Barnett as fighters who can exist as fighters outside of the UFC, still making a stable paycheck. And it's because, like, you're honest. You guys are honest about it. You know, you're not going to get hurt unless the money's right.
Exactly. I mean, you've got to be able to come down and do it. Now, for me, in particularly, UFC goes only up to 265 pounds. So there's no work for me anyway in the UFC. So it's like, for me, I feel like, why is it someone wanting to step into where I'm working in another country, all over the world. You know, back then in school, we used to call that hustling. We used to say, man, you know what, you got to get on there, you got to get that hustle, you got to keep working and make it work. That's what I do. Now, usually that's highly respected. Now this new generation comes over where you've got this, you know, well, hey, this is what I'm about. Ariel Helwani, he comes out, he spews out nothing more than trash and filth, and talks to people and acts like that there's all this huge, big golden goose at the end, or a golden pot of gold at the end of this whole thing. There's none. In fighting, there's no health insurance. In fighting, there's no life insurance. So if you think about starting a family, you're wrong. Now, see, I love you should get in there and train. You should get in there and train. Because, see, in normal man's standards, the way a normal man speaks, they say, oh, I got divorced because I was a workaholic. But if fighting is a part of training and training a part of fighting, and if you're asking someone to train all the time, you're asking someone to become a workaholic. So simply by what you are putting out, simply just throwing it all out there by just saying, well, hey, we can throw anything at these guys, blah, 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 blah. Hey, there's one thing that will never happen to me. I will use my common sense, and I'll use the sense that I've seen as I travel throughout all these countries. I will respect the people, and they will respect me. And I'm having a great, great, great time with doing what I'm doing. Now, I can promise you right now that as we speak, how does it feel for me when I lose a fight? And I can tell you, it feels ego-wise feels terrible.
Yeah.
You know, I look down on it. You know what I mean? I come in and I just feel so bad. You know, and I see people's face, and they really express some pain for me. You know, and they feel really sad and they feel disappointed. You know, and you know, then of course, like 3,000 or 4,000 of them want to line up to tell me so as they take my picture.
Yeah.
They feel really bad, and they say, okay, Bob, come and get them next time. You know, and so a couple of the ones, just like the most recent one, Legends at Russia, I really did feel like I was going to come in there and feel I felt rather unstoppable. But, you know, hey, whether it's age, whether it's, you know, my brain telling me, hey, you can, you know, you feel unstoppable, and my body says, you're stoppable.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's okay too. Because, you know, most fighters, let's get this terminology and this vocabulary cleared up real quick. Most fighters stop. They never retire. So let's just drop that from all these little fake, freaking, stupid wannabe fighting websites and everything else, whether they're ones like Ariel, and there's more than that. I mean, there's several, okay? And one thing that I'll talk about what I'm going to do with those guys later, just to kind of help get this thing control.
Yeah.
But with one thing is, you know, so they stop. That means they won the last one, or they lost their last one, and phone calls just stopped coming. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what happens. This retirement. Retirement means you have enough money from your job that you can now move on to another job much easier. Send cash, a big load of cash. Or you can stop doing anything and just sit back and sit back and go to Tahiti and sip on some umbrella drinks and whistle at the beautiful, sexy women and take pictures of the dolphins jumping in the
Yeah. Yep.
So, fighters, no, it's stopped. So it's a very big problem because just the terminology is all mixed up. I love reading on there when they go, well, I thought this guy retired. Huh? I'm thinking, did you see any kind of retiring match? Did you see anybody retiring like in the NFL, retiring a jersey or saying thank you and all of that stuff? Nothing. Dan Severn retired earlier, last year or this year? And nobody cared. Nobody cared.
You mentioned, you fought in Moscow, Russia just a few days ago, last week. You fought Alexander Emelianenko, and he actually, quote, retired a few months ago. And so I was surprised that fight came together. How is it working with the Russians in the MMA business? And he was retired. He came back, obviously, because he got a chance to fight a big name like Bob Sapp.
Right. Yeah, that's what you're going to find out a lot. You're going to find guys coming in and out of retirement, guys asking specifically for me because that's been their dream to do, their dream to fight me. Their dream is to get in the ring with me, and it generates so much publicity for them, and it generates so much. Now that Legends event by itself was number one outstanding. That had to be the best show I've ever been in a long time.
It was awesome. I liked it, man.
I want to still go to that Legends show. Hopefully that'll still be around.
Yeah,
I did some things there that I wanted to make sure to have it still do around. That the promoter's discretion to kind of to say what I did there. But it was pretty unexpected by myself as well. But I know that that show was something that I really want everybody to enjoy. And I tell everybody really just to support that group in the best way because that they're incredible. I gotta give it to them. They did a really great job.
Oh no, definitely, man. That was one that the fans didn't expect, but they loved seeing, man. That was awesome. But I do want to mention I just want to say something about the Ariel Helwani, the ambush interview. Again, I just want to go back to that real quick. Obviously, I believe he even hung up on you at the end of it, all drama like. It was that was that in and of itself is unprofessional, completely. Go ahead.
iPad. Using an iPad to do your. I was using iPad and Wikipedia to do all your investigative work. So, can I tell you this real fast? Back to what I said. What I'm going to do. I'm going to start to expose these sites, these ones that pump out this filth and this garbage. I'm going to start exposing who these people are. So see, they got a nice little website with really nice bright colors, and it makes you say, oh, therefore these people have something to say. No, they're saying garbage. It just looks nice, garbage. So I then will say what their real names are, where they live, how much money they bring off of their website, what their backgrounds are. I'll just expose that, and I'll let these people have an idea for who it is they're listening to. When they find out that they're criminals, that they're junkies, that they're drug addicts, when they find out that these guys are barely able to rub two cents together. I had one of the guys called me a sissy, and then when I decided to start talking to him about it, he turns around and says, but on Twitter, you can get a lot of followers, and that's going to be a big marketing tool. And I said, yeah, but what are you selling? And he had no idea to say. He had nothing to say. And I was laughing because I was like, okay, so see, when he puts it out, it's okay. But is he able to respond to it? No. He can get no response. That's mega unprofessional. Ariel did the same thing when he hung up. Ariel did the same thing when he's running around with an iPad. goes on there. He goes on there unclean, shaven. I mean, there's a lot of things that this guy does that is mega unprofessional. Hey, if you say it's a sport, and if you want the sport of MMA to come up, you've got to start knocking guys off like that. You've got to start saying, talk about it as if it's a sport.